A deploy finished 10 minutes ago. The new code is running on every server, and not one single user is touching it. That is because deploying and releasing are two different events. There are 6 common ways to ship a new version, and they usually get taught as a list to memorize. They sit in one spectrum. On the left, deploying and releasing, happening at the same moment. As you move to right, the two pull apart until you control the release long after the code is shipped. Most teams pick one by habit, and on a calm day it works fine. The trouble shows up the first time a deploy goes wrong. There is a shared database underneath both versions, reading and writing to it, and the clean version swap they pictured was never clean. We will walk this spectrum from left to right and end on the one question that tells you which to reach for. Start with the simplest option on the board. You stop every instance running the old version, then you bring the new ones up. In the gap between those two steps, nothing is serving traffic, so your users are staring at downtime. The downtime is the whole character of Recreate. The instant the new version is up, it takes all the traffic the old one had. Deploying it and releasing it are the same single event, which is why the gap on our axis is zero. It is also the one approach where a bad deploy lands straight on your users. If the new version fails to start, there is no old version waiting behind it, and you are down until you fix it. You would still choose this on purpose for the simplicity when you already have a maintenance window, or the two versions simply cannot run side by side. Ruling does the same job gradually. You replace the instance a patch at a time, bringing the new versions up. While the old versions winds down, the service never goes dark the way it does with Recreate. Because the swap is gradual, both versions serve real traffic for the whole rollout. The router sends each request to whichever pool has room. So the old code and the new code both answer users at the same time. That one fact drives everything else here. Since either version can handle any request, your data has to stay readable both ways. The new code reads records written in the old format, and the old code, still live, has to tolerate records the new version writes. You end up carrying conditional read and write paths that understand both formats until the rollout finishes, which is more code to write, test, and reason about. Rolling back is slow. There was never a single switch to flip, so you walk the patch in reverse. The same gradual way they went out. Ruling give you two knobs to tune. One is how many extra instances you spin up beyond your desired count. The other is how many you let go down at once. Turn those up and the rule out moves faster. Turn them down and you keep more spare capacity in reserve. Blue green runs two production environments that you keep as close to identical as you can, with only one of them live at a time. The live one serves all the real traffic, and the other sits on standby. You bring the new release up fully in the ideal environment and test it there before any real traffic moves over. While you test, the version takes zero production requests, so anything you find never touches a user. This is the widest the gap ever gets. Fully deployed and healthy, release it to nobody. The cutover is a single act. You switch the router so every incoming request go to the new environment at once, and the old one drops to idle while still running. There is no dark window because the new environment is already up and warm when the switch flips. So the change your users see is near instant. Green now serves everything, and the blue stands by holding the previous version. That is your zero downtime cutover. Rollback is the same switch in the other direction. You flip the router back to the old environment, still standing by with the previous version, and traffic returns in one step. That fast single step rollback is the headline win, and it holds cleanly as long as the change is stateless or the schema still lines up, a limit the shared database scene comes back to. That clean flip hides two things worth slowing down on. A handful of requests were already in flight on the old environment when the router moved, and the flip does nothing to protect those. They can be dropped instead of finished, unless you feed both environment at once during the cutover or hold the old one read only until it drains. Zero downtime for new requests is not the same as zero lose for the ones in flight. The second cost is the bill. Blue green need two full production environment standing at the same time, which roughly doubles the infrastructure you pay for. The standby side is a complete copy of production, and building that second copy is hard work on its own. Replicating a full production environment faithfully takes real effort, and it gets harder with microservices, where you duplicate and wire up many services instead of one. The clean flip is still real. It costs you in flight safety and a second environment to get it. The build is deployed and ready, but the router still needs all your traffic to the old version. Canary lowers the risk of releasing by handling the new version a small controlled slice first, before the change reaches the whole fleet. The new version start holding real production traffic, but only a silver, and that silver is the only part released. It starts near zero and grows as your confidence builds. The climb from 1% to 5 to 25 to 100 is a typical ladder teams use, not a rule you have to follow. Ruling a canary back is a reroute. You send the slices traffic straight back to the old version with nothing rebuilt on one machine at a time. That assumes the slice didn't change any state you cannot undo, which we will come back to with shared databases. Canary lives on a different axis from ruling. Ruling swaps machines out one patch at a time, and exposing more users is a side effect of that replacement. Canary is about routing and watching a controlled slice, because the rollback reroutes instead of reversing instances. Flipping the split back is faster than reversing a rolling change, and the two layer together. While the slice ramps under real production load, two signals matter: error rate and latency. Both read live off the canary, and producing that measurement is the reason the slice exists. The decision to widen or roll back can be automated. The statistical test compares the canary's numbers against the baseline, the old version serving everyone else, and asks whether the canary is meaningfully worse or normal noise, separating a real regression from a random variant. On a clean reading, the gate opens and the slice widens. Watch the tail latency, the P95 and P99, rather than the average. Regressions hide in the tail. Your average can look calm, while the slowest few percent of requests falls apart. The one users feel. When the comparison flips to worse, the gate trips and reroutes the slice back on its own. This is regression detections, resolved in minutes to hours. A/B testing answers a product question whether a change moves a business metric, and that takes days. There is one more way to test against real traffic, where the new version handles every request and no user ever sees what it returns. The gap stays wide open for this whole scene. The router sends every request to the old version, which return response to users at full volume. The new version sits off the side, deployed, but holding no release. Shadowing sends a copy of your live production traffic to the new version. The original request still goes to old version the way it did before, and the new version receives a duplicate of it. The traffic going to users is never thinned. Those mirrored requests are fire and forget. The new version processes the copy and produces a response, but that response gets discarded and never goes back to a user. The only response anyone receives is the old version's response, so the new version is released to nobody. Mirroring runs out of band of the critical request path, so it adds no production latency and cannot corrupt the response the user gets. That makes Shadow a way to validate and load test the new version against real traffic with zero user-facing impact. Canary releases to a slice of users who see the result, while Shadow runs traffic whose result nobody ever sees. That copy you split off runs start to finish. Every line executes a second time. For a read, running it twice costs you nothing. A write is where it bites you. Anything that hits a shared downstream, a payment, a row in your database, fire once on the real path and again on the shadow. The card gets charged twice unless you stop it. So you only mirror writes that are safe to repeat, or you tag each copied request, a header the shadow can spot, and skip the mutating write when it sees the marker. Mirroring isn't free on capacity either. You push a full copy of production through the new version, so load on that path roughly doubles. That path needs real spare capacity, since it runs every step except the write you stop it out. A feature flag changes how the system behaves without changing the code that's running. The new path ships to production dark and switch it off, and you turn it on at runtime by flipping a switch. This is the strongest form of a deploy that is not a release. Other strategies fold release into the deploy or the router. A flag pulls the two full apart, so incomplete code can sit in production, turn it off until you decide it's time. The router still picks which pool serves a request, while the flag decides whether the new behavior runs for a user, evaluated in the app per request with no reroute. You bucket users constantly, so a user stays on the same side every request and never jumps between old and new. Turn the flag on for a small random slice. Watch your metric, then give it to more users. That makes flags plus metric progressive delivery, a canary you drive from one switch. Flags come in a few flavors with different lifespans. Release toggles are short-lived and hide work in progress. Experiment toggles run your A/B tests. Ops toggles are kill switches for graceful degradation. Permissioning toggles gate access per user for segment. Same switch shape every time, with the deploy frozen behind it. That flexibility isn't free. Every flag you add is one more branch the code has to carry and test. Once the release flag has fully ruled out, it's just a dead weight. You have to remove it on purpose with an expiry date, a reminder, or a cleanup task. Otherwise, the flag quietly pile up. The real danger shows up when you reuse an old flag without removing the code it used to turn on. Flip it, and that old behavior comes back when nobody expects it. Night Capital is the story everyone points to. On the 1st of August 2012, a deploy didn't reach one of their servers. That server still had an old, reused flag on it. When the flag turned on, it ran old trading code that should have been deleted long ago. And the firm lost about $440 million in roughly 45 minutes. That was a deploy versus release failure, and a flag depth failure at once. An old switch was still wired to code that should have been deleted long before. Every strategy so far assumed you could swap one version for another cleanly. That holds while the service is stateless and breaks once a shared schema sits behind both versions. Since one database serves old code and new code at once, so watch instant rollback. A migration runs and the database takes on the new shape. You flip the router back in seconds and the code rolls back. But the schema and the data do not. So the old code now points at database it no longer fits. Push it further. Once a step drops a column or a table, there is no undo. Rolling the code back cannot bring that data back. The only way out is a snapshot restore, and now you are recovering, not rolling back. The fix is parallel change. Most people call it expand and contract. It splits a backward incompatible schema change into three phases that never break either version. You expand first, add a new shape beside the old one, a nullable column or a new table, and drop nothing. Both codes paths still run against this database because the old shape is right where it was. Then you migrate. In the application, every write hits both the old column and the new one, while a backfill sweeps the existing rows into the new shape. Both shapes hold the same data now, so a code rollback here is still completely safe. Then you contract. Once nothing reads or writes the old shape anymore, you remove it. That last step finishes the change. The trap is discipline. You have to finish the contract, skip it, and you carry both shapes forever. Dual writing forever. And a parallel change abandoned halfway is worse than no change at all. This is why Blue Green and Canary stop being free instant rollback once a schema change is in the mix. Two versions run against one database during the rollout, so the schema change needs parallel change underneath. It's also what lets a feature flag reach into stateful changes. You gate the new path behind the flag during the parallel change, ramp it while you watch your metrics, then contract. So deploy and release stay separable even with the state underneath. You pick a strategy by constraint you actually have. The access from the cold open comes back, and a few yes or no question place you on it. First question: can you tolerate a downtime window, or can your old and new versions simply not coexist? Either way, recreate is fine. Deploy equal release, and the gap is zero. Second question: can you afford two full copies of the environment at once? And a clean instant flip back matters most? That's a blue green. If not, ruling replaces instances in place, patch by patch. The routine low risk choice for simplicity and cost. Question 3: does the change carry enough risk that you want a production signal before full exposure? Then Canary. Route a slice, watch error rate and tail latency, and let the gate widen or pull back. Want to test against real traffic with nobody affected? Shadow mirrors live traffic and throws the response away, so you validate before any user is released to it. If you need a release fully decoupled from deploy, targeted per user, that's a feature flags, the furthest open point on the axis. These aren't separate boxes you choose between, you layer them. Canary on top of blue green, flags getting the canary group, shadow validating before any release. Under all of them sits the real decision question: is there a shared database in the change? If there is, none of these hand you a free instant rollback, and you run expand and contract beneath whichever you picked, the discipline that carries everything we have covered. The one line to keep is that deploying is not releasing. Shipping code to a server and exposing it to users are two separate events, and the gap between them is the thing you are actually designing. If this helped, subscribe, drop a like, and consider supporting the channel. I hope this has been helpful. See you in the next video.